It's First Aid with Kelly Kincaid on Sway in the Morning.
All right. First Aid with Kelly Kincaid. It's a really important one.
Absolutely.
It affects your finances.
Everything. Money makes the world go round. You know, like I said, Sway, April is Financial Literacy Month, and we are approaching the deadline to file your taxes with the man, Uncle Sam. And I wanted to bring in someone to talk about taxes, saving, investing, and just money.
Yes.
You know, and right now we're in tax season. And today I have my guest, Ash Cash, who's a financial motivator, personal finance expert, best-selling author and inspiration speaker. Good morning, Ash Cash.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
So I know you have a big background in the financial world with banking experience,
Yes.
and you consult people with their personal finances. It is tax season now. And, you know, this week we had the biggest artist right now, Cardi B.
Yes.
And she was talking about taxes, and she said this.
What have you learned about money as you made more and how to keep it and how to make it work for you?
That the more money you make, the more taxes you got to pay.
Okay.
True.
True, right?
Because, let me not get into it because I get very sensitive.
Okay. Well, you are carrying.
I get very sensitive to know how much money I got to pay, and I don't know where my money going to, but all right, so whatever.
Okay.
And I just really advise people to get a business manager, to get an accountants and everything, somebody to manage your money, because next thing you know, you see yourself spending about $300,000 in 1 month, and you don't even know on what.
So, Ash,
Wow.
you've heard that before, right?
Wait, what made you go, wow, Ash?
I mean, a couple of things, only because as she started mentioning getting accountants and getting business managers and not knowing where money is going, for me, that's a red flag that you should be more involved with your money, because a lot of times, because people get overwhelmed with making money, they hire other people to manage money. And when we think about, especially when we talk about taxes, when we think about people, we've seen a lot of celebrities go to jail over not paying taxes, things of that nature. And it's because of that, right? It's because they trusted the accountant, they trusted this person to manage everything. And so I do think that you do need a professional to manage things for you, but you gotta learn, right? You gotta understand, what how much money is coming in, what money's coming out, and what is the money going to. And someone who is as busy as she is currently, maybe she doesn't have the opportunity to do it. And so someone who is very close to her, somebody that she trusts, she should have that person as the go-between the accountant and the business manager to make sure that everything is being, managed the right way.
And that's interesting you say that, and I'll share this with one of my personal situations is the person I've been with in business since high school, my partner, King Tech. We actually set up a system like that because a lot of times I'm mostly in front now, but back in the day, I was the guy in the back, and I set up our infrastructure, our financial flow, with an accountant. But at the same time, the accountant was teaching me along the way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so now what we do is he manages the people who manages our money. Nobody has the power to sign a check other than me or him.
Absolutely.
All right, and even with the investments we might make, whether it's in the stock market or whatever type of plans we set up, retirement, so on and so forth, he's always on top of that. To your point, he's always on top of that. And that's been the smartest thing. We learn so much in that process as well.
Absolutely. And I think that's important because, what happens is that if you are not used to having money, now you have money. If you still don't learn how to properly manage the money, now you're always going to be dependent on other people, and you're going to believe anything that they say to you. And so as you mentioned, having that accounting, having somebody to manage that process, it also helps you in your learning process, right? And so now you can teach other people around you. Now the people around you could teach people around them. And that's how we break the cycle, too, of poverty in our community. And because what happens is one person gets money, but then they start to outsource this knowledge. This knowledge is like, you need this for the rest of your life. Yeah. Right. And so you should be learning it. And it's the best time, right? You have the money coming in, you should be learning.
And you speak from experience because you really started from the bottom.
Yes.
You were raised in Harlem.
Yes. St. Nicholas Projects. Yeah.
And you were.
You don't butter
say Harlem, I get excited.
You brought a thug up in here, Kelly?
Well, I find you're very relatable because you come from St. Nicholas Projects,
Yes.
but you went to school and you started at the bank as a teller.
Absolutely, yes.
So money has been going through your hands for many years, over 15 years.
Yes.
And when you hear Cardi B speak, I'm sure the different clients you have, you hear that all
the
of the
time.
time. So
Absolutely.
it's not about someone who has a lot of money. It's the people who have the little money that's still trying to figure it out. Like, how do you position them to say, hey, you can save, you can do this, you can do that. It's okay. You're not going to live check to check.
Yep. No, I think first and foremost it's about the education, right? And so, if I sit with someone, it's really about educating them first on, here's this plan, right? This is how you're gonna, set some things aside. You're gonna put some money away, to make sure you have your financial freedom fund. I used to call it an emergency fund, but words have power, so we call it the financial freedom fund. You're gonna put money aside for savings on those goals that you want. You want to make sure you put money aside for your future, but then also you have to live too. So you have to put money, aside for, or give yourself an allowance of the amount of money that you're gonna live off of, and then you got to invest and help grow that money. And so this whole plan, you give somebody this plan, and then you say, listen, this is why we're doing it, because the why is important. Educating them on the different pitfalls of, if you don't do this, this can potentially happen. And I think that as you educate people, and then as you start to work with them, they start to understand a little bit. Okay, this is why I'm doing this. Okay, this makes sense. And then also for people who are busy. So even if if you're busy and don't have money, if you're busy, you have a lot of money, by setting up a plan and understanding why, you can actually automate certain things too. So you don't necessarily have to be so involved in that it takes away from, the grind and what you're doing. But I think education is the most important part, is understanding why. Like, why do you need 6 to 8 months of expenses in an account? Why do you need to build your credit? Why do you need to invest? Why do you need to change your relationship with money, right? Because we know about working hard for money, but the wealthy know that it's about changing that relationship. Instead of working hard for money, money needs to work hard for you. Right.
Say that one more time.
Right. So instead of working hard for money, money needs to work for you. You have to change the relationship.
Let it breathe.
My fault.
Instead of working hard for the money, let the money work hard for you. How can that apply to somebody who makes $50,000 a year or more or less?
Yep.
All right. I want to come back and I'm going to open up the phone lines too. Ash Cash is here. Give out your social media.
Yep. I am Ash Cash, and that's on everything: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
ASHCASH. Hit them up. You don't need us to hit them up now. You got a direct line to them. Okay. 888-742-3345. Yeah. That's right. We got a financial expert, motivator.
Ash Cash.
Ash Cash is here. April's Financial Literacy Month. Kelly Kincaid.
And you are the financial motivator, and you just broke a lot of stuff down as far as making money work for you. And I was introduced to you by your first book, Mind Right, Money Right, and we talked about financial freedom, and you have 10 laws for financial freedom that I thought were very interesting. What with all your clients, what law really wakes them up?
I think it's really the mindset law. We talk about mindset a lot, and it's important that people are changing their mind in order to get their money right. And so a lot of times, we have the practical things like budgeting, saving money, putting money away, building residual income. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the proper mindset, if you don't understand that as you're on your journey, there are certain things that you have to think about in a certain way, change your perspective and how you look at money, then you're not going to really manage your money the right way. And so I think that the law on changing your mindset is the one that people say, oh, you know what, I didn't necessarily look at it that way.
Give me examples of things ways you change people's mindset from one position to the next.
Yeah, so I'll give you a prime example, right? So you asked the question earlier about somebody, making $50,000 or less, and how can they create residual income? And so most people are told to, when they buy their first home, let's say, buy a home to live in, right? And so I say, you know what, maybe change your perspective. Let's not think about buying a home to live in on your first go round. How about you buy a multifamily home, right? And if you buy a multifamily home and use, government programs like an FHA loan that requires you to put like 3% down, so you don't have to have a whole lot of money to become a first-time home buyer. And then plus, banks have certain programs to help you with down payment assistance, right? You buy a multifamily home, and then now you live in one of the apartments, or you rent out both of the apartments, and now you have income coming in, and that income can pay your mortgage, and you now have freedom. Now you've just changed your relationship with money. Now you're not working hard for money. Money's working hard for you, because you don't even have to do anything, and you actually have money coming in each and every month. And so that type of paradigm, that type of thought process is saying, you know what, in what other ways can I actually take situations in my favor and make them, change them in a way that it continues to allow me to live abundantly, to live in a way where I'm not stressing so much about money. And now, by just changing that one little thought process and buying a multifamily, renting one out, living in one, you just created income for yourself and you live rent free.
I am Ash Cash on social media. Reach out to him directly. We got Angel from Chicago on the line. What up, Angel?
Hey, Angel.
Oh, I got to hit the line. Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Angel.
Angel, you there? Okay, that's not working. All right.
Can I ask a follow-up question to that? Yes. On average, though, how much do you have to put down for that, just so people can realize how much they should have in the bank saved, or if they're going to purchase this multifamily home?
No, absolutely. That's a great question. And so if you think about a place, some places in Queens, in the Bronx, we're here in New York, let's say, for instance, it's usually like 10% you want to save. Mm-hmm. And so if you have a house that's, $250,000, you're thinking, $25,000. But then when you think about a FHA loan, that's, asking you for 3% down. If you have a $2,000 or $200,000, house, that's only $6,000 that you have to put down, right? Mm-hmm. And so, having $6,000 to $10,000 can actually get you in the game. And then, if you think about other states that, the property values or the price of a home is not even as much as it is here in New York, then that month, it's even less and less that you have to actually save. And so I would say, look in your, local area, what places cost, and then average out about 10% to save, because again, if you're a first time home buyer and you're using an FHA loan, you're only spending about 3% that you have to put down, but you do want to have a cushion, right? You don't want to just put that 3% down and not have money left over for other things that might relate to the home. So I say on average save about 10% of what the value of the house is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a bunch of calls and try to get through them as quick as possible. Marco's on the line from Florida. What up, Marco?
Good morning.
Marco.
What's happening, Sway and the team?
How you doing, man?
Marco was
You
good.
have a question
Man,
for
I'm
Ash?
wonderful, man. I'm glad you guys let us come on. But I have a question. We're trying to plan for our retirement here, and we just came across some good information about a bank on yourself system, that whole life dividend paying insurance policies. What do you feel about that?
I think that a whole life dividend paying insurance policy is a good option. If it's giving you enough dividends that you can sustain your lifestyle. And so I think it's important to understand what is the monthly income that's coming in, and can that sustain your lifestyle or part of the lifestyle. But it's definitely a good option to look at.
Can you break down for those who don't know what is that? What kind of plan is that?
Yeah, and so it's a whole life insurance policy that also as each and every month there's an income portion that you get as a dividend. Mm-hmm. And so once you invest in that particular insurance policy, each and every month there's a percentage based on what the policy is paying that you'll get as actual income or dividends.
Marco, is that suffice for you?
Stable, brother.
Thank
It's stable. That's what I was hearing, that it never fluctuates. So I'm killing my 401k and dumping all my cheese over into this policy.
Yeah, and
they've been doing this for 125 years, and we don't know about it.
Yeah, and that's a great point, right? With a 401k, you're investing in the market. You're investing in mutual funds and businesses and things of that nature. And when we look at the current market, one day it's up, one day it's completely down.
Yeah.
And so, to Marco's point, it is very stable compared to your 401k that can fluctuate up and down because it's invested in the market.
Marco, you're a citizen, brother.
A Sway in the morning.
Thank you for your call. Malik is in Charlotte. He got an interesting situation. Go ahead, Malik. Talk about it.
Hey, Malik.
Good morning.
Thank you, team, for taking my call. This is very scary for me, but I'm moving out on faith to find out more. so I can take care of it. My children, my youngest child turns 18 in less than a month. Needless to say, I've been paying child support the entire time. I don't want a cookie. I don't want applause because that's what I was supposed to do. But in the process, I put myself in a bad tax position because I was paying a lot of money as just a regular dude hustling, working a regular job. I got hit with a ridiculous amount of money per month. And to cut corners, I didn't always pay what I owed. And I know they're going to come looking for it now that they won't be cutting off my child support to take money from me. I just want to know how to go about approaching the IRS so I don't immediately start getting garnished and stay in poverty because I did the right thing by my kids.
Okay.
No, absolutely. That's a great question, and I think that the first step is really jumping in front of it and reaching out to the IRS and not waiting for them to reach out to you, and sort of like reach out to them, letting them know once you know how much you owe them, having that conversation with them and setting up a plan so that you can start paying off paying what you owe. A lot of times when the IRS starts garnishing wages or starts income executions, a lot of it is because they're not hearing from people, and so I would say jump in front of it, knowing that you'll have extra funds now. Jump in front of it so that way you'll still be able to have a living wage and be able to live and pay down that responsibility as well.
And sometimes you can negotiate a settlement.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, and
yes.
then a time schedule of how much you're gonna pay for how long. But it's good to get in front of them because once they on your neck,
there's no mercy.
They stay on you. And Malik, it ain't the end of the world. So you still have an income and you're making money. The other thing with child support, when you pay child support, a lot of times a person that's paying it can't even claim that child support on their taxes. Mm-hmm. So it goes as income still. So you still being taxed for money you not even using. So definitely get in front of it, Malik, and keep us posted on how that goes, all right? And Malik, if you're on social media, hit him up directly. I promise you he'll communicate. Absolutely. You might want to hire I Am Ash Cash.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He might do some pro bono work.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about that.
Hit me up.
Hit him up, man. Tell him Sway in the morning. Sure. Thank you, brother. Angel, you there? Damn, Angel is not there. I think this is something interesting Rob from Philly want to say. What up, Rob?
Good morning.
Hey, what's up, family, man? How y'all doing today?
Doing great, fam. How are you? You good?
I'm all right, man. A lot of us come from not understanding money and coming from a situation where as though we don't have those discussions around the dinner table about how to become financial free. So one of the things Ash said, right, as far as investing in property, I think, Ash, could you just tell the flip side of that even if you have the 3% down, your credit got to be right now. The money spot is what, 680 and up. For as far as getting a loan or mortgage. So I learned the hard way, being by just not wanting to live in the hood and not live where I came from no more. And I stepped out and got properties, but the educational aspect. What you're talking about, Ash, is very important. So not only reading, but also comprehending what you're reading when it comes to financial responsibilities and moves that you can make. I took a beating because I didn't know the flip side of everything. So could you discuss that flip side as far as, you're not only having the 3% down, but making sure you had the proper credit score? Because I dabble in it too. And one thing I know about black folks, when I deal with them, they always wanted something on the hookup. And like I told them, I was going to hire like a little white college dude and put him in front and, give him a script to read, because when we try to talk to our folk about it, they always thinking that somebody's trying to get over on them. And we constantly hurt ourselves by not understanding the whys, like you said.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you, Ash, and I'm gonna look you up because I've been reading The Richest Man in Babylon. That's one of my go-to books. You know what I mean? and that goes with paying yourself first.
Yep.
A lot of black folks don't. A lot of folks in general. I'm not gonna say black folks, but
Come on, man. Like this ain't a black, just a black thing, bro.
Right.
It's a lot of people don't understand how to manage money or make it. We're not taught it. I learned it, Rob, like you. I learned it the hard way, getting backed up on taxes.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
exactly.
Yeah. So and buying property and the market crashed.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's a real thing. And so to your point, absolutely right. And so one of the good things about an FHA loan, though, is that it does allow.
Explain what that acronym is.
Yeah, so FHA is Federal Housing Administration, and it's a government program that allows people who have low money, not a lot of money saved up, and actually low credit. Allow them to, get into the home ownership game. And so with an FHA loan, they actually allow you to get a home at 580. So if the minimum score is a 580. I would not suggest, right? If somebody has a 580, I wouldn't suggest them to go in. So to his point, I wouldn't suggest them to go in and buy a home because at a 580, there are some things that you need to fix first, right? From a financial perspective, from a discipline perspective, from how you manage money, that I would want you to fix first before you get into home ownership. And so that's why it is important that we understand credit. We understand our FICO score, that it goes from 300 to 850. And that we want to make sure that we have that 700 or better, and so that is an aspect of the game that we need to know because as you start to learn and know about credit, you'll actually learn how to leverage your credit in order to build wealth as well and buy homes and things of that nature.
And you have a book called "What the FICO:
Yes.
12 Steps to Repairing Your Credit," and I thought your dedication was interesting. This book is dedicated to the 44 million Americans who suffer from bad credit.
And to Sway's point, it's not a black or white, it's not a black or white thing. Like it is everybody. I'm saying that 7 out of 10 credit reports in this country have errors on it, right? Meaning that 70% of the people in this country, the 300 million plus people have errors on their credit report, don't understand their credit. And so it's not a black and white thing. It's really the way the system is set up, right? When you think about, and a prime example, when you get your first credit card, that the bank will tell you, hey, your limit is $1,000.
Yeah.
And so you think you could spend up to $1,000. No, the system says that if you use more than 30% of your limit, you are negatively impacting your score. And so if you get a credit card that has $1,000 limit and you use more than $300, you are negatively impacting your score. People are not told that, right? People are told that, hey, here's $1,000, use $1,000. But the banks are not going to tell you because they want to make money off of interest, right? It's $1 trillion business.
There it is.
Yeah.
See what you just said. There's a reason why 7 out of 10 of us got bad credit reports or errors on our credit. We don't understand it. Even if you do get that first credit card, that interest rate is probably about 19, 20,
Absolutely.
20% or something like that. So on $1,000 at 20% interest, how much are you paying back?
Right, yeah, and majority is going to be interest, especially if you keep that balance, right?
Yeah.
So that $1,000, that $200, that $190, that $200 interest rate, that's going to stay with you. That's why when people think, when people have these credit cards and they start paying minimum balances, and then they realize they look up, they bought something for $1,000, and it's years later they're still paying down on this, and they wind up paying $2,000-$3,000. Is because that's the cycle, that's the game that they want you to get into.
Are banks loan sharks?
Oh, absolutely. They are the legal loan shark, right?
Yeah.
They're the legal ones. Think about it. If a bank is providing financial tools, why aren't they educating you on the tools first, right? Like in any other business, like why not tell you about these tools? Why not teach you, how to do it? You don't get financial education, from your bank. Your bank is going to sit there and give you these products, right? You come in there and you tell them you have an issue. They're not going to educate you on the issue, how you got into the issue, how to fix the issue. They're going to say, hey, we got this product. We have this product, because it's the product that makes the money, and it's about, making money. So I absolutely agree that they're legal loan sharks.
What about
Absolutely.
credit unions?
I love credit unions.
Talk
right?
about that.
And so, and that's the thing, right? And Jay-Z said, right? Until you own your own, you can't be free.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about a bank and the structure of a bank is owned by stockholders. And so the people that they care about the most are the stockholders. They are beholden to the stockholders. Yeah, they may do things for the community or whatever the case may be, but their main responsibility is to make their stockholders money. When you think about a credit union, it is a financial cooperative, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a credit union means that anybody who deposits money in that credit union now becomes the owner of that credit union. And this is why I love credit unions, because at the end of the day, you won't see a bunch of branches. You're not going to see a lot of commercials. And the reason for that is because that money that they could be, putting in advertisement and things of that nature, they're giving that back to their members. That's why you get lower rates. Or typically you get lower rates when you go to a credit union. That's why you're able to, even if you have issues, with your credit, they might work with you and give you a loan and things of that nature, is because you are an owner. You deposit your money in a credit union, you actually own the credit union. And so I love credit unions because they help people, everyday people, even with education as well. They help people, get their finances together.
What are interesting ways that, and I like that you utilize that term, everyday people can set up for the future in terms of savings and retirement plans, IRAs, that sort of thing?
No, absolutely. I think first and foremost, it's creating that financial freedom fund that I mentioned, right? It's taking a percentage of what you make. 10%, 15%, whatever it is, and put it aside. Make it automatic. Don't have to think about it. Make it automatically go there, because
put it aside in the credit union.
Yeah, put it aside in the credit union. Okay. Don't take out a debit card for your financial freedom fund. Make sure that it's something that you don't have real easy access to, first and foremost, because you want to have at least 6 to 8 months of expenses, so that way if there's any emergency or turmoil, you'll be able to survive at least 6 to 8 months. So that's first. Secondly, I would say it's important to start funding your future, right? And so, taking out, if you work for a job that offers a 401k or a 403b, if you work a nonprofit, definitely take advantage of those, especially if those your employer matches funds, right? Back in the day, there used to be a lot of employers that match funds.
Yeah.
Some still do. So max out and take advantage of that. If you don't have that option, take out an IRA, an individual retirement account, which is important because, we talk about taxes, right? With an IRA, if you do a traditional IRA, it is tax deferred, so you don't pay any taxes on the money, as you make it, right?
Yeah.
And you only pay taxes when you withdraw. If you do a Roth IRA, it's not tax deductible, but it's tax-free growth and tax-free distribution. And what that means is, if you do a Roth IRA, you put, let's say $5,000 each year into the Roth IRA, you can't deduct that off of your taxes, but as it's growing in that Roth IRA, whatever interest you earn is yours. You never have to pay Uncle Sam any of that growth, and then when you take the money out, you don't owe them anything. And so you think about compound interest and how long, like if you take $5,000 a year and you're earning a good percentage and the money is compounding, like that is a lot of money that you can use at retirement to like live the life of your dreams,
But you got to be careful.
Yes.
Because if you take out money beforehand, you will get penalized.
Right. They have the 10% penalty.
Yeah.
With IRAs, there is a 59.5 limit, right? And so you have to wait until you're 59.5 in order to start distribution. And to your point, if you start withdrawing that money prior to that 51.5, then there is a 10% penalty, plus that money is added to your taxes as income. And so you have to pay taxes on it as well.
Real quick, man. When you think of hedge funds and investment groups, and you see this collaborative effort to raise money or people putting in money, is there a microcosmic way that people in our neighborhoods who are, let's say, spending money on gold, you see a lot of guys spending money on jewelry, fancy clothes, $700 belts. If we got 10 of those guys to take, hey man, that $5,000 you throwing away at the strip club, you probably spent, $10,000 a month or whatever. Hey, why don't we all take 5,000, 15 of us, 20 of us, put 5,000, bring it together, and 20 of us put in 5,000. Now we got $100,000 in a fund that we could put to work.
Yeah.
anybody can do that.
Oh, absolutely,
right?
absolutely, and I think it's something that we need to focus on, right? So I released a book, the Wake Up Call: Financial Lessons Learned from 444, Jay-Z's album, and I talk about that, right? Because when he says financial freedom is our only hope, that's serious. Like that's not just a line. It's serious. Like when we think about the politicians, everything that's happening, we are our answer. And to your point, we need to buy back our blocks, right? Because when we think about gentrification, we could have easily did it, right? We could have easily started to take our neighborhoods, like you said, put funds together, and now we own it. And to your point about putting the money together, investing in our neighborhoods, buying back our blocks. We think about the local bodega, right? The bodega makes $5,000 a day from the community, right? And so in a year, that's about $1.3 million that's leaving the black and brown community because we don't own it. So that $150,000, that $5,000 we pull together, we buy the bodega. You can still buy your jewelry.
You can still buy your jewelry.
Right. You can still ball out.
$700 belts.
Exactly.
Because you got money over here making money for you.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I bought in Harlem
about
how many years ago? 3 or 4 years ago. And man, that property has escalated. So high.
I need to hold something, Sway. I know what that Harlem property is like, because that's another thing, right? Yeah. At one point, we had Harlem they was literally selling buildings, brownstones for $1.
North Manhattan.
That's what they call it.
Yeah, North Manhattan. So high, and all that other stuff. No high, yeah.
Yo, Ash Cash, get this man a round of applause, man. You're going to come back.
Nah, thank you.
You're going to become our resident financial consultant here at Sway in the Morning. Give out your social media again.
Yes, follow me. My website, IamAshCash.com. Follow me on all social media. I am Ash Cash, and that's on everything: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of it.
Man,
support
great job,
his books.
Man. Yep.
Support his books. Check them out. There's some really good information in there.
Thank you, Kelly Kincaid.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Good luck with filing those taxes. April 17th is an important day. And you can follow me all on my social, Kelly Kincaid, KELLYKINKAID.
Damn.
All that money talk.